Good day everyone, I am Henecy Marquez. Today we will tackle about the standard precaution and transmission-based precaution. Standard precaution are the minimum infection prevention and control practices that must be used at all times for all patients in all situations. These practices are designed to both protect DHCP and prevent DHCP from spreading infections among patients. Standard precaution aims to minimize and where possible eliminate the risk of transmission of infection, particularly those caused by blood-borne viruses. Standard precaution consists of the following practices include hand hygiene, use of personal protective equipment, respiratory hygiene, child safety, safe injection practices, sterile instrument and devices, and clean and disinfected environmental surfaces. So let's start with hand hygiene. Hand hygiene is considered one of the most important infection control measures for reducing the spread of infection. Hand hygiene is a general term that refers to any action of hand cleansing, such as hand washing or hand rubbing. Hand hygiene is the act of cleaning one's hand with soap and water to remove viruses, bacteria, microorganisms, dirt, and other harmful substances stuck to the hand. Next, we have the personal protective equipment. Protects the healthcare worker from exposure to blood and body fluid substances. Personal protective equipment that complies with relevant Australian standard should be readily available and accessible in all health services. The use of personal protective equipment, which may include the gloves, gown, plastic apron, mask, face shield, and eye protection. Respiratory hygiene or cough ethic. Infection prevention measures are designed to limit the transmission of respiratory pathogen spread by droplets or airborne routes. The strategy targets primarily patients and individuals accompanying patients to the dental setting who might have undiagnosed transmissible respiratory infections, but also apply to anyone with signs of illness including cough, congestion, runny nose, or increased production of respiratory secretion. Child safety. Most percutaneous injuries among DHCP involve burns, needles, and other sharp instruments. Sharp injuries continue to occur and pose the risk of blood-borne pathogens transmission of DHCP and patient. Most exposure in dentists are preventable. DHCP should be aware of the risk of injuries whenever sharp are exposed. When using or working around sharp devices, DHCP should take precaution while using sharp during cleanup and during disposal. The use of needles and other sharp are dangerous to people if it's not disposed safely because they can injure people and spread infection that cause serious health condition. Safe injection practices are intended to prevent transmission of infection diseases between one patient and another or between a patient and DHCP during preparation and administration of parenteral. Safe injection practices are a set of measures DHCP should follow to perform injection in the safest possible manner for the protection of patients. Sterile instrument and devices. Instrument processing require multiple steps using specialized equipment. Each dental practice should have policies and procedures in place for containing, transporting, and handling instrument and equipment that may be contaminated with blood or body fluid. Clean and disinfected environmental surfaces. Policies and procedures for routine cleaning and disinfection of environmental surfaces should be included as part of infection prevention plan. Cleaning remove number of microorganisms from surfaces and should be always precede disinfection. Disinfection is generally a less lethal process of microbial inactivation that eliminates virtually all recognize pathogenic microorganisms, but not necessarily all microbial forms. Transmission-based precautions are used in addition to standard precaution, when standard precaution alone may be insufficient to prevent transmission of infection. Transmission-based precautions are used for patients known or suspected to be infected or colonized with epidemiological importance of highly transmissible pathogens that can transmit or cause infection. Transmission-based precautions are not required for patients with blood-borne viruses, such as HIV, hepatitis B virus, or hepatitis C virus. So there are three different types of transmission precaution. One is contact precautions, two is droplet precaution, and last is airborne precaution. Contact precaution used for infection diseases or germs that are spread by touching the patient or items in the room. These are intended to prevent transmission of infection agents, including epidemiologically important microorganisms, which are spread by direct or indirect contact with the patient or the patient's environment. Next one is the droplet precaution. It is used for disease or germs that are spread in tiny droplets caused by coughing and sneezing. These are used to prevent the spread of pathogens that are passed through respiratory secretion and do not survive for long in transit. The last one is airborne precaution, used for diseases or very small germs that are spread through the air from one person to another. These are required to protect against airborne transmission of infection agents. So that would be all. Thank you.